It's the perfect blend of the post-race high and the pre-race jitters. Why? Because we are at the break between races of a doubleheader Saturday night. Here on the Virtual Grip Network, streaming cyberspace into your place from Kern Raceway. It's the Virtual Grip Network's 9th round coverage of the Bootleg Racing League's Late Model Invitational Series, Season 28. The saying is a watched pot never boils. Well, last round at Indianapolis Raceway Park, the kettle on the burner was Ruben Altice, and after taking over the lead with 45 laps to go, despite all the eyes on his familiar number 70, the steam generated by being first under the waving checkered flag made the whistle scream loud and clear that Ruben Altice, on his 85th attempt to do so, was at last a late model Invitational Series race winner. Altice became the 6th different driver to post wins this season, 2 of those being Todd Liston and Mike Holloway. Liston and Holloway sit 1-2 in the points, separated by 4. But tied with Holloway in second is Kurt Smith, who currently is on a 3-race top 5 streak. Bruce Pearson is only a half dozen markers back to Liston, while it took Altice 85 tries to get his first career win. Double Deuce Bruce is on an impressive 0 for 168. Will race number 169 be the magic number for Pearson? To find out, pull the lever on the lazy boy and settle in for the simulated short track racing action that's about to stream your way. A warm Golden State hello and welcome on this Saturday night, November 23rd, 2024. It's Ricky, Hard-in-the-Wall Harden, joining yours truly, Bill Soupçon, hi from the VGN broadcast booth for your Words Eye View. If there are sliders to slide or dials to turn, well, who better to do it than Ryan Seneca? All right, Ricky, the late models coming to this track. How's it feel?
Yeah, the late models, it's time to switch gears literally and figuratively. We got a 4 on the floor in these things rather than just the 2 gears that you saw in the modifieds. We move from the nimble chaos of the modifieds to smooth precision of the late model stock cars. If you're expecting the twitchy handling and aggressive wheel-to-wheel combat that we typically see in the modifieds at a track like this, you're in for a bit of a curveball. The late models are a different beast altogether. These cars are a little bit more stable. The setups in them just seem to grip the track better. So I think that we're going to see a little bit more stability from the cars, but sometimes that means that we'll have a little bit closer racing in these cars too. So look for guys to try to manage the right front tires. It's always a theme here in the late models, but with this particular setup at this track, I do think that right front tire wear is going to be extreme. So guys that manage the tires better will be around at the end.
It's been said that Kern wears rubber like Catwoman, and I think that is definitely going to be a factor tonight. On tap, 100 laps. That is the usual fare for a Bootleg Racing League event. You got to finish on the same tires you start with, and there's no fast repairs. Big boy racing, you break it, you bought it. With that said, let's take a quick look at the points. With no drivers making season debuts last round, the number of drivers who've raced at least once this season holds at an impressive 28. 12 have raced in each of the previous 8 events. A disastrous 17th place finish by Mike Holloway allowed Todd Liston to become the 4th different point leader this season. Kurt Smith and Holloway are the only drivers on the overlay with a career top 5 at Kern. How about that? After 3 top 5s to start the season, Double Deuce Bruce Pearson hasn't been there since. The Butcher of Baton Rouge. Well, you know what? Joe Snyder moves up 1 spot. Alan Wanamaker leads all drivers in incident points. Chris Hazlitt, his 2 worst results have come on his last 2 races. It's the exact opposite for Joe Snyder. For Joe Snyder, as his best 2 results have been his last 2. Old-time Donnie Moore has a pair of seconds and nothing but double digits everywhere else. And then finally, welcome to the top 10 for the first time this season, defending champ John Wilson. With that said, practice is over, which means we can go ahead and give you the starting lineup right now, and we have a full field of drivers to do that. Starting on the pole, it's going to be Chris Haslip. He's going to be inside of Jason Menda.
Row 2, Todd Liston in the 87 machine with the caveman Trey Bloom starting in 4th spot.
And then let me get caught up here. My timing is going, and I'm back here. John Wilson be starting in 5th position inside the Butcher Baton Rouge, Joe Snyder.
It's a double deuce of Bruce Pearson going to roll off 7th with Kingpin Joe Segala in the 81 rolling off 8th.
Jeffrey Happy Kemper and Bossman Lowell Jewell go 9th and 10th.
Kurt Smith, he's going to go 11th with Adam Shane in the 79 and 12th.
In the Baker's Dozen spot, it is Steven Spies. And coming off his first career win, starting in 14th, Ruben Altis.
Some big names further back. Donnie Moore is going to roll off 15th with Mike Holloway in 16th.
Tom Hilbert will be starting in 17th. And watch out, because he's on a hot streak. Welcome back, young gun Aiden Young.
Mark Herzog, another one that's quick, back here in the 19th spot with Scott Negus, topping the practice charts earlier tonight in 20th.
Hidden Blackjack, it's Daryl's Cheese and Weinecker. In the double duck spot, Jeffrey Harden. And then rounding out your 23-car field, it's the Professor John Hine. Not sure if John's actually going to take the grid tonight. Let's double check to see if John is out there. I believe not. So we might just have 22 going.
Yep, that's right. 22 cars gridded up, ready to do battle here at Kern.
Glad you are here with us. This one and 2 more. The championship is close. It's really down to maybe 3 or 4 drivers. There are some drivers with an outside shot. Ricky and I were talking before we went green that with such a large field like this, if you have a bad race, it is extra costly.
It absolutely is, and it's been a really, really interesting point battle, and probably one of the best in bootleg history recently. These guys have been going back and forth. Pace car is going to get out of the way. Chris Hazlip has control of the field, and he's on the loud pedal. He gets away. Green flag is out. We start our 100-lap affair here with Hazlip in the lead, Minda on the outside, and Todd Liston looking to the inside for that second spot.
Hayslip is where you want to be right now, as this could get messy early. Boy, they are 2 by 2 by 2 behind him. They cannot get it sorted out. The outside line seems to have a little bit of momentum as, oh my goodness, is there enough room?
3 wide for the lead. 3 wide for the lead, and Minda goes to the top with Hazlip in the middle. They made contact off of turn 4. Minda's going to think better of it, cross under him. Hazlip all the way up to the top of the track. He's going to lose the lead and second spot, and he might lose third as John Wilson gets to the inside.
They were coming on all sides of the Lipper. Your new leader, Todd Liston, Menden making a move on the outside. The Goose, John Wilson, now into third. Hazlip is dropping as he's stuck on the outside. Double Deuce Bruce Pearson moves up into fourth. Look at this, Happy Kemper now making a run on the inside. Nice battle between Kemper and Liston.
Yeah, Hazlip really having a hard time getting that car to turn. He's been pushing way up the track, and as he does that, he stacks up the field behind him. He's the proverbial cork in the bottle, and he's side by side with Kemper now for that 5th spot, and he's got the run coming off of turn number 2. You can really utilize that top lane to get a little bit better run off the corners. This setup is very tight, and when it's tight like that, you can't get off the corner well on the bottom, so the top lane can become a preferred lane, especially the later we go.
Feels like the Lipper caught his breath there and settles down now. Gets into 5th place, just in front of Kemper. They go single file behind him with Kurt Smith and Adam Shane. You're looking for a big mover. Well, nobody up much more than 4 spots. The best one right now up front, Kurt Smith.
And Kurt Smith's in front of a battle further back. Oh, man, you just saw that out the corner of your eye. That yellow car was Mike Holloway, went way up the track, but he was able to hang on to it. He's going to lose some ground. Scott Negus coming under him now. But we're looking a little further ahead at Trey Bloom. He was battling with Steven Spies just a moment ago. Trey Bloom started a little further up toward the front, and he is already dropped 8 spots back to the 12th position.
Ricky, it looks like they're starting to single file here. There's still a little battle going on. Moving under Trey Bloom, that's Lowell Jewell getting that spot. Bloom is stuck on the outside. But pretty much they're settling down a bit. Well, as I say that, I don't know.
Yeah, I got to believe Trey Bloom is trying to look after his tires, trying to make them last as long as he possibly can. But, man, he has given up all kinds of track position doing it. He's gone from really a decent starting position almost to the back of this train. And he's under pressure from last week's winner, Ruben Altis, who's gotten underneath him. But look at this. Further ahead, there's Kurt Smith battling with Happy Kemper there through turns 1 and 2. Kemper way up the track, just about got into the outside wall off the corner. And Adam Shane is going to try to fill that gap and get under Kemper as well.
Shane is coming with him, hoping to bring along Spies and Donnie Moore. Kemper now stuck on the top side. There is a train behind him. The train goes all the way back through Snyder, Lowell Jewell. You know, a guy to watch who's here, the 29 of Scott Negus. He's always quick. Keep an eye on him. He's just ahead of the yellow machine there of Mike Holloway. Holloway in that points bet race.
Yeah, and Holloway had made up some spots early in this race and then kind of got nerfed up the track there a few laps ago, lost some of that track position. And so he's still up 2 spots from the start of the race, but he lost some of the track position he had already gained. Now we see that Adam Shane has gotten by that 8 car of Jeffrey Kemper, and Kemper's looking to see if he can get in line in front of Steven Spies, but Steven's going to try to fill that gap as Kemper goes way up the track there in turn 2, loses a lot of momentum, gives Spies to run down the back straightaway.
Just to do a little big picture painting here, Liston is your points leader, and he's out in front right now. Well, you can't have it much better than that. Holloway has to be a little bit worried, stuck back there.
Trouble a little further back. Kemper gets turned. They're going to stack up behind him. Kemper's trying to hang on to the car. He does. I don't think we're going to have a caution flag. He was sliding all the way through turns 1 and 2, held on to it. A bunch of cars stacked up behind him, but nobody got turned all the way around backwards. We're going to stay green.
We get lucky on that one. Liston is your points leader out in front right now, ahead of Jason Menda. Just to drill down on what is taking, Holloway buried back in 13th position. Let's look at that right now. He's in a tough battle, working the top side underneath the man who just picked up his first win in his 85th try, Ruben Altice. Altice looks really good. I wonder if getting a win given him a little more confidence.
Oh, you know it. That's the best way to get confidence is getting a win under your belt, and I'm sure that felt good. Side by side here with Mike Holloway, but Holloway with a run off the top side there, going off of turn number 2. Altice is just going to settle in behind him. A little bit further forward, we got another battle going on between the 39. That is Joseph Snyder and the 29. We talked about him. He was fast in practice. That's Scott Negus. He has already moved his way up 10 positions into the top 10.
Interesting. Negus against Snyder. Negus made the low side work, but we just saw that battle back before with Holloway against Altice, and Holloway made the top side work. What am I missing
speaking
here,
of the
Ricky?
bottom side, here comes a 45 of Menda to the inside of the 87 of Todd Liston's battle for the lead, and Menda's going to get it done. Liston's just going to settle in right behind Menda, and what I think is happening here is the bottom lane is still the preferred lane. As long as you don't just lose your momentum underneath somebody. If the guy on the top really tries to pinch you down and you don't angle the corner just right, you can lose some momentum and give that top lane a run. But I also think if you're on the top, you're going to work your tires a little bit harder at this point of the race. So inside, I'd say, is preferred, but you can make the outside work if you do it right.
Racing for the win is always fun. Racing for a championship, maybe a little sweeter right now. That's something Liston has to keep in mind as he has to weigh risk against reward. The fun of racing with Menda compared to the 11th race campaign that is a championship. Liston right now probably thinking big picture. A man who knows how to win a championship back there in third. That's your defending champion, the Canadian Goose, John Wilson, back there. And Bruce Pearson having a nice run in fourth.
And Wilson not in this championship picture at all this season. But, you talked about Liston maybe not wanting to battle too much, but, man, he's staying right on the back bumper of Mendes.
Yes.
So I don't know if he's just playing it safe. I think he's looking for his opportunity to pounce and try to run away. I think he really does want to keep the lead and control the pace, but he's just not able to do it. There goes Menda with a little slide and cuts under him, does Todd Liston, and he's going to be to the inside down in turn number 1, side by side for the lead yet again. They're going to become close to each other right here off of turn number 2. 87 up the track just a little bit, almost forechecks Menda, and here goes the 75, the Canadian Goose, to the outside.
Some great track awareness there from Liston, as I was worried he was going to move to the outside as Wilson had tucked in to his right hind quarter there, but he gets it worked out. So Liston chases it up now. I think Liston thinks he's faster. Ricky, I think you're right. I think he would like to get out in front there and just have some clear track in front of him.
Yeah, we've seen Liston before. He likes to control the pace of these things. He likes to get out front as soon as he can and then, maybe back the pace down to his level. He doesn't want somebody else to do it for him because I think maybe he feels that he's not going to manage his tires as good behind somebody as he would out front. So, to me, it looks like he's still pressuring Jason Menda pretty hard.
He might be watching his timing and scoring, and way down the list back there in 10th position is Scott Negus. He is coming quickly. Let's go to Negus real quick just for a second to show you what's up. He's coming up behind Donnie Moore, and then he's got a smorgasbord of cars in front of him as the front guys are slowing down this train. So that's there for Negus, and I wonder if Liston is thinking, boy, somebody's going to come up here and give me a challenge. I maybe need to get around Menda right now. Menda clearly not the fastest.
Yeah, but I'm looking one car back from this 10-car train. and that's where Mike Holloway sits. I believe he's managing his tires back there. He's not trying to pressure these 10 cars. There's nowhere to go. There's no reason to get up there and push those guys forward. They're all stacked up nose to tail, so why get in there? Just manage those tires, and maybe you'll have something late in the race, and you can jump past Todd Liston and be in a good points position at the end of the day.
Boy, we have a nice train. It is Menda, Liston, Wilson, Pearson, Hazlett, Smith, Shane, Please, Moore, and
There goes
Negus.
Liston.
There he
the
goes.
inside yet again. He's going to try to get there, and he is there in turns 1 and 2. Oh, they get really close off of turn number 2 right here. They just about come together, and you see the run with Menda on the outside. It really looks like every time Liston gets to the inside, that car washes up the track just a little bit, and he has to get out of the throttle ever so slightly, and that gives Menda the run.
It is so interesting for me, who really doesn't understand car mechanics at all, to look at the difference between the way these cars handle, and you talked about it in the opening, compared to the modifieds, the SK modifieds that we saw. So much more, they seem so much more stable. Even though Liston got to the inside, the car, instead of getting loose and turning on him, kind of just drifted up into Menda.
Yeah, and I don't think you're going to see a lot of guys have trouble with getting loose unless they angle the corner really, really odd or maybe catch the apron. This car is definitely more of a tight setup underneath there. So what that means is when you get back into the throttle on corner exit, it really just wants to go straight. The front tires want to go straight out toward the wall, and that's what you're seeing with Todd Liston. That's why you just saw him down there hooking the line there at the apron of the racetrack. He's going to try to get down there and get those left side tires on the line to get the thing to turn. And you can see in these cars, you're flirting with that line. In the modifieds, you didn't want to get anywhere near that thing.
You wonder if Menda is racing lap number 32 with visions of lap number 92, knowing the tires are going to be the factor right now. You look at those cars in the train, who's the smoothest? Who looks like they're getting the car sideways a bit? You got to figure that what the racing is right now is not going to be anything like we see at the end of the race.
Yeah, Menda's trying to drive just as hard as he has to drive to keep the lead. He wants to hold these guys back. He doesn't want to drive any harder than he needs to. He wants to manage the tires until the end. We're a third of the way through this thing. That's still a lot of life that you need to have in those tires. But look at Todd Liston. He's getting a run on Menda. He didn't duck to the inside this time. He just stayed tucked up right behind him right there. So that's interesting. First time I've seen Liston do that.
We're going to leave the front. We're going to go back to 10th position here. No, actually, we're going to go into 4th position. This is 93. This is Hazlett trying to get underneath Pearson. That's not going to happen. I want to drop you a little bit farther back. My partner talked about it. We talked about Negus being the last car in the train. Well, that's not the case now. Look who's there. Holloway. There's Altice in the battle. And Herzog has come in as well.
Yeah, and Holloway had to turn the wick up a little bit because he started to get pressure from behind, but there's contact for Ruben Altice. Ruben Altice gets turned around in turn 4. He's on the apron of the track. The caution flag is not out, but he's going to back up, and that might trigger the caution, and it does. Ruben Altice gets turned around in turn 4 to bring out the yellow.
Boy, you can just feel it. Sometimes you do these enough. Ricky and I both knew that that's where we wanted to go. He got in. He was looked right behind Herzog, or right in front of Herzog, right behind Holloway, and they get together between the two yellow cars.
Yeah, I think Herzog thought he was going to roll the outside on Ruben right there, and he tried to get there and just caught him in the right rear corner, not able to get to the side of him, and instead gets in the back of him.
Well, so that brings out our, I believe this is our first yellow. Am I correct on look at my thing? I don't think we have one yet. So we got in a nice third of the way through in a lap 38. Let's go ahead and dial up car number 29, Scott Negus. He is our hard charger, up 10 spots. We need to race down everybody. Scott, it's soup up in the booth. You started in 20th. You've cut that in half. You're starting on the outside. Can you make the outside work?
I don't know for how long. These guys are pretty fast here in front of me tonight, so it's a tough track to pass on, honestly.
The big worry that I've been hearing from everybody is tire wear. Is that something you're concerned about?
You know me. You watch me enough. I burn the tires off them every week.
All right, we'll get to the front and make him get around you, buddy. Good luck.
Thanks, Soup.
And that interview right there really helps explain why those guys are battling so hard to stay out front of this. You want to drive just hard enough to keep the lead.
Indeed. The man who probably set the standard is notorious for get to the front, whatever it takes to get to the front and make you pass is Jason Menda. Now, he hasn't had to worry about that today as he started up front. So hopefully he's saving the stuff. And I get a hunch because I know Menda, and let me take a quick look at the qualifying, the practice times of Jason, see where he was up near the top. So I got a hunch. He, like you said, Ricky, I think he has the speed to go faster, but it's pointless to do so now.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, but he doesn't want to drive easy enough that he loses the lead. He's going to choose the inside here, so I believe he thinks on the restart that the inside is going to get the better launch here between the two lanes. Well, actually, we're not choosing quite yet. We got one more lap to go. It's going to be interesting to see if he chooses the inside or the outside, because remember when he was on the outside of the 87, he was always getting the run off of turn number 2 and pulling away from Todd Liston.
Now, the other two drivers, we talked about Liston and Holloway being so close. The other two drivers in the championship hunt, Kurt Smith and Bruce Pearson. We'll look at Pearson up there right now in 4th. Kurt Smith within shouting distance in 6th. So, I don't think much is going to, they finish right now. Not a whole lot going to be decided. Holloway, the guy that needs to make up some ground.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think Liston would love for it to finish just like it is. And,
yeah.
As we cross the line to get the 1 to go signal, Jason Menda will choose the inside. So that is what you typically see at most of these tracks. The inside is going to get the better launch 9 times out of 10 at a track like Kern. So I think he thinks he'll probably be clear by the time he gets to turn 1. Won't have to battle on the exit of 2.
22 drivers took the green. We've got them all here except for Lowell Jewell. He's called it a night. Ruben Altiz, as he so often does, even though he had trouble, he's back out there racing. Last on the lead lap.
And they come into the restart zone. Jason Menda on the inside of the track, gets on the loud pedal, gets away. He's already clear of the 87 machine. They're stacking up behind him. Chris Hazlip goes around. That's going to trigger our second caution of the night. Chris Hazlip backwards on the front straightaway.
But he spun off to the inside, and I think everybody got by. It's just a one-car incident for Lipper.
Yeah, he kind of gets offset right here, and he misses a shift. Right there, you see him miss the shift. Can't get it in gear, and luckily gets turned out of the way and doesn't collect anybody else.
The car does not go at all, and I believe that was Adam Shane that maybe got into him. Yep, it was the 79. So talk to me about restarts. These cars, unlike the modifieds, they have, you talked about it, they have all the gears. What gear would you start in a restart? What would you be in?
You're going to start in second gear in the late models most of the time. There are some tracks where we might start in first gear, but I believe we're going to be starting in second gear here at this track. So it was that second to third gear shift. He missed it, and oftentimes it's easy to hit the gate when you have an H pattern shifter. Sometimes you try to go from second to third, and you'll catch your gate, and you just can't quite get it into third gear. And the worst case scenario is you'd hit the first gear and might blow the engine up doing that. But he didn't money shift it. It looks like he just couldn't quite get it into gear.
All right, let's dial up the Canadian Goose, John Wilson. He's having a nice run in third spot. John is soup up in the booth. You got a copy?
I do, sir.
Okay, inside line, outside line. Are you happy where you are?
Yeah, I think so. It's a little early yet to try that outside, but we'll see what happens.
So you're behind Menda. Do you think Menda's given it all he's got? The train goes all the way back before the yellow, 13, 14 cars. How much are you using up in the 75?
I don't think we're using a whole lot. I don't know if Jason's pushing or if he's just kind of holding a little bit back. But Jason, he likes to push it as much as he has to. So we'll see.
When is it time to go?
Now.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
He'll take it if he can find it, I think is what he's saying.
Absolutely. I do think he's right. Menda's not driving any harder than he needs to, but I think Liston is going to jump at any opportunity he has because you want to be in control of this race. It looks to be hard to pass out there. Unless somebody makes a mistake and loses some momentum, you might be stuck.
I hate to hammer home this point, but Liston sitting in second, Pearson and Smith going fourth and fifth, Holloway again stuck back in 10th. Like to pick up a few more points. A long time to go and a lot of cars to pick up. A lot of positions for Holloway to pick up. A lot of racing left, not even to the halfway point yet.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. I really think Holloway was back there saving more tires than anyone else in the train in front of him. As we double up, Menda's going to choose the inside again. So if Holloway does have more tire in the tank, he might be a force later in the race.
So far, we still have most of the field out here racing. 22 cars. We've lost only the Joel. And we're looking to go green one more time, working lap number 48.
And it's Menda in control of the field. He gets on the loud pedal early this time. Last time he waited a little longer. This time he gets on the loud pedal early, and he's going to be way clear going down to the turn number 1. The 87 machine going to tuck into second place, and the battle is for 4th. You see the double deuce of Bruce Pearson get a little contact from Kurt Smith, and he went up the track. Kurt's going to try to take that 4th spot.
He did. The number 6 got into the left rear of the 22 just a little bit, moved the 22 up a bit. Remember, these guys are both in the championship hunt, and every point they pick up, even more the sweeter if you're racing somebody who is next to you in the points. Smith getting the best of that. Looking on is Adam Shane, watching, looking for an opening. They are 2 behind that. Spees is stuck on the outside. Watch out for Negus. Negus is down low. I think he's going to get the best of Spees here. Don't know how much is the 29 is going to have left at the end of the race, but he's coming.
He absolutely is. He's taking advantage of every opportunity he gets. There is no doubt about that. And look a little further toward the front. That 87 poked his nose out. He didn't quite get there side by side. But Negus is going to get the job done on Steven Spees. He's top 3, though, under a blanket. Look at the 87. Every time he comes off the corner, Liston ducks to the inside and shows the nose, as I like to say. Oh, man, contact a little further back between the 79 and the double deuce of Bruce Pearson. Those two get together in the middle of 1 and 2. They're battling for the 5th position. And the 75, Shane, he's going to get the run on the bottom there going into the corner, but off the corner, it's the double deuce getting the big run down the front straightaway.
All right, Pearson is getting roughed up of late. First of all, Smith gives him a little nudge, and then Shane gets in there as well. I'm going to need to see Mike. Oh, getting loose is Wilson. Wilson is way off pace.
And a battle for the lead while we talk about all of that. It's the 87 going to the bottom of Menda. He wants that lead back, and he's going to try to take it. They were Cialis bathtubs down the front straightaway, but Menda gets a good run down that straightaway and pulls just a little bit further ahead, and he's going to get a bigger run down the backstretch to secure the lead once again over that 87 car. These guys can't let it go at the front, and we want trying to cover some battling further back, but we can't do it. Here he goes to the inside again. Oh, man, that's tight going into 1.
There is racing all over, but we'll stick with these guys up on top. This is about the 3rd or 4th time Liston has tried to get to the inside of Menda, and he cannot finish it. Look who is back there now. Kurt Smith is racing in 3rd position, waiting for those guys to make a mistake. Wilson got loose, and that's why he fell out of 3rd. He only lost 1 spot, but boy, they were gathering him up. Everybody checked up, and Shane got on him. Pearson is there now. Let's go back. Look at Pearson moving to the outside this time as Negus. He's going to try the top side.
Yeah, he saw the outside open, and he said, you know what, I'll take it. Well, I'm going to go where they're not, and it's worked out for him. He's going to clear the double deuce, and whoa, look at Steven Spees behind him. Steven Spees tried to go to the inside of the double deuce of Pearson, but he wasn't able to get there. He's going to try to get a run off of turn number 2, and he looks to the inside of Pearson now down the back straightaway. Man, Pearson slams the door shut going into 3.
Oh, I'm going to need to see my chiropractor. I'm going to get whiplash, moving my head back and forth from the front to the back. There is excitement everywhere. Right now, Mended holding off Liston. Let's look at this. Liston is within inches on him, tighter than a new pair of shoes on a rainy day as Todd Liston on Jason Menda. Smith is right behind him. Boy, if those guys were to make a mistake, Smith would be sitting in the cockpit with them.
Yeah, this is some really, really close racing, and that just tells me how hard it is to get a run on each other and getting side by side and complete a pass here at Kern Raceway. This is one of those tracks you just got to stay close, hope the guy makes a mistake, and then you pounce. And that's exactly what Liston has been trying to do. Every time he's seen that 45 slip up, he's gotten alongside of him, but that's what Kurt Smith is doing now. That's what the 75 machine of John Wilson is also doing. And now bring Adam Shane and Scott Negus up into the mix. We talked about Scott Negus, how he's been the fastest guy all night long, working his way through the field, and he's got a run on the 79 of Shane now. He'll look to the inside to try to pick up that 5th spot.
Negus is coming. We don't know how much he's going to have left at the end, but he is coming certainly. They are side by side. All this going on behind Menda and Liston. Liston, time after time after time, trying it, cannot get it done. He's so close again, but he waits.
And further back, they're still side by side here with the double deuce and the double nickel. The Steven Spees got to the inside of Bruce Pearson like 10 laps ago, fell behind him, and now he's finally going to get the job done on the inside of Bruce Pearson. He was trying to follow Scott Negus earlier, remember, and he decided to cut to the inside. It took him that long to get the pass done. But Negus now looking for a way around that 79 car in front of him. He's looked at him a couple of times. He's gotten a couple of really good runs at him, and I feel like he's going to be side by side with him before too long.
I just got to draw your attention to big picture. Mike Holloway buried in 17th.
Yeah, it's been a night to forget so far for Holloway. I thought maybe he was just back there managing tires and try to save as much as he can, but it's too late for that. We've got 37 laps to go right here at the line. You can't save your stuff that deep into the race and expect to make your way around all of these cars. So I don't think that's what's going on. I think he's just mired in traffic.
When I look at all the cars that are racing up front, two of them come to mind for guys who have worked the hardest. Todd Liston and Scott Negus. You got to worry that the 87 has tried time after time after time to get underneath the 45, and I don't think he's done making the effort yet as he continues to pressure the 45. Smith back there watching. Negus, does he have anything left? I think maybe Negus might be giving up on him right now because now Speeds is looking on the 29.
That's exactly right. I was thinking the same thing. The 55 got to him and got to the inside, but Negus held strong on the outside right there. Didn't lose any positions. Here comes the 75 of John Wilson. He's trying to get that third spot. He lost earlier back. Kurt Smith actually got loose a couple of laps ago off of turn number 2. So these guys are doing something over those seams to be able to break these cars sideways. As tight as they seem to be, they are able to get them to step out. We've seen both the 6 do it and the 75 do it. So let's see if they can keep it under them. And the 75 a little loose there off of turn number 2, loses the momentum and falls back to 4th.
Boy, he gave it all he got, and I think he realized that I'm not going to get the 6, and if I'm not careful, the 79 is going to get me as well. Nice battle behind. Speeds on the top side. Negus' car stops dead. As we have that
look
battle
at
for the lead again.
He gets contact with Minda. He's going to go around Todd Liston into the inside wall. No caution yet. He's off the track. If he does not pull up on the track, there won't be one, but the caution does come out as he tries to turn back around off of turn 2. This has championship implications all over it.
Could you hear the points clicking away? Point, 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 point. Liston comes out, what I believe is going to be way down the order in 20th. Holloway picks up in 16th, 4 points ahead of him. That could be the best news for Kurt Smith right now, who's racing in 2nd. Holy
that was
moly.
Some hard racing there for the lead between Minda and Todd Liston. Minda just didn't give Todd any extra room, but honestly, when you're on the outside, that's where you want to run. You don't want to give the inside too much of a run or too much gap to be able to push you up the track, and he didn't do it, and they came together, and Liston goes around, and he's going to be on the last car on the lead lap right here. He's going to have an awful lot of traffic to work his way through in less than 30 laps.
Let's dial up the Canadian Goose, John Wilson, who has been up and down. Let's see what he's Did we talk? I guess we just talked to John Wilson before. Sorry about that. Well, with that said, how about we look at the next one down, Adam Shane doing what he does from 12th to 4th. There we go. Bring up the number 79. Adam, doing what you do. Up 8 positions. You're stuck on the outside. Is that bad?
I don't know. I haven't been on the outside yet.
There's quite a train behind you. Do you have much left in the car? Are you using it up?
Oh, no, I have more, but, I got some good races behind me, so I'm trying to look forward and look behind me, but I still have some left in this car.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on you. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
As he says that, as those words come out of his mouth, as if Steven Spies has listened to the broadcast, he pulls up alongside of him, and he's got Negus out there as well. Now, before we went to yellow, Negus' car just basically stopped on the track. I guess maybe he got loose, and he lost a ton of spots. I guess he's feeling okay. Could be running out of tires. We've seen it where the tires go, that sometimes they can't finish the race.
Yeah, sometimes they fall off a cliff and you just are struggling for grip after that. And when we say that as drivers, we'll say falling off a cliff because that's what it feels like. It feels like they were gripping the road just fine for the longest time, and then all of a sudden it was like you had a flat tire and you couldn't grip the road anymore. So that's just something you see happen in these cars sometimes. But I'm not sure if that's what happened with him. I think you're right. He may have just gotten loose, had to get out of the throttle, slowed him down a little bit, but he certainly has used some stuff up working his way through the field.
Just to drill down a little bit on the big picture, and I hate to hammer it home, but it is important as Todd Liston is going to get the wave around. That could be more important than you might imagine. Kurt Smith came into this race tied for 2nd with Holloway, 4 back of Liston. Well, now he races in 2nd. Liston is buried, according to my timing and scoring, way back in 21st position with Holloway in 16th. Ricky, this is exactly what we talked about, the size of the field. If this was a 13 or 14 car field, it would not be as devastating for Holloway and Liston.
That's exactly right. So it's going to be interesting to see what they have. It's going to be Mendo with the control coming off of turn number 4. He gets on the loud pedal, and he is away. The battle is for second. It's going to be the guy that sits in the points lead as they run on the outside of John Wilson, battling for that second spot side by side through 1 and 2.
Smith was right there, had an eye full of Liston having issues right now, and he races in danger right now, but he has a lot of faith in Wilson that he's going to keep the car straight. Smith is going to get credit with racing in second. Wilson is not going to give it up while he's here, though. You don't have this opportunity very often, so he's got to finish it. So he does. Spees, who's been licking his chops now, gets to the inside. Smith has to be careful. He wants to get down in front of Spees so bad, but he's not there yet. And Spees is trying his very best to hold that spot. You are clear now, Kurt. If you want to duck down, you can keep third spot.
Yeah, and he was going to wait till he got that big run and cleared ahead of Steven Spees by a good margin. Woo, Adam Shane way up the track right there. Just about got on the outside wall. That's going to give Negus a look to the inside of the 75 car. You just heard from Shane, and he talked about how he had these fast guys behind him who try to hold him off. But Spees has gotten around him, and now the 29 of Negus is looking to get around him as well. He's going to try not to lose any more spots than he has to right here. But, man, hard battle here for this spot with the 29.
Spees just ducks the car to the left, trying to get underneath Spees. Back there doing a little Mark Train racing is Scott Negus, whose reports of his death have been greatly exaggerated. Negus still has a lot left.
Todd Liston is in the wall. Todd Liston is in the wall coming off of turn number 4. He got together with the 25 machine of Tom Hilbert and brings out the caution flag yet again with almost 20 laps remaining in this race.
Yeah, that was an attempt to make it 3 wide, and sometimes when things have gone south and you're back there racing at the back of the pack, 3 wide is not maybe the worst case scenario for you. It did not go well for Liston.
Yeah, I mean, he got the run. He looked to the inside, and, man, there just wasn't any room for error when you're 3 wide like that. They got really close to each other, and around go both of them. And, you know, Liston's car is going to be okay, so he's going to have another shot to work his way through. But, man, he's running out of laps. Going to be less than 20 to go on this restart.
Okay, well, all the Jason Menda fans have been saying, what's a guy got to do to get an interview? Well, he's done enough. He's leading here. He's led 62 laps. He's ahead with just 20 to go. Let's dial up your leader, number 45, Jason Menda, the fireman without a pole. They've been coming. It's a different name every time outside of you, but you've been able to fend them all off so far. How much you got left, Jason?
It's a good question. Has a lot of pressure, so I don't know how much I use my tires.
You know, there has been a train behind you, and every time we've done an interview with the guys behind you, we've asked, how hard is the 45 racing? Is he racing full speed or not? And they didn't know. Can you let us in? Have you been racing hard, or have you been trying to race just hard enough?
Just hard enough. Trying to save my tires for the end.
Got it. All right. Good luck to you. Well, you got the Canadian Goose behind you now. Another new name making a run. So see what you can do.
Thanks.
He's fended off all comers so far.
Yeah, we had a feeling that that's what he was doing, just driving hard enough to keep that lead. But Liston didn't let him back it down as much as he would like to have backed it down, because he stayed glued to the back bumper pretty much the entire race until the contact caused him to have to go to the back of the field. So going to be interesting to see if the 45 has as much left in the tank as those cars right behind him.
Holloway in 16th, your points leader starting the race. Liston in 20th. Bruce Pearson, who was racing in 4th. Very nice points night for him in 7th. Kurt Smith in 3rd. All the more reason to come back and watch these final 2 races of this season. It's going to be exciting. Nothing more exciting than the racing on the track is when you have a nice points battle to go along with.
Yeah, and with a couple of the top guys having problems, that really is going to bring this field together even more from a points perspective. And right now, it certainly looks like Kurt Smith is in the best spot of everyone. He is looking to leave here with a decent points margin over all comers, except for maybe Bruce Pearson going to be within a few points of him. But he just wants to get out of here with his car in one piece in that position that he's running right now in 3rd. I think he'd be real happy.
That might be easier said than done, though, when you look at the drivers who have come up around him. He's got the 55 of Steven Spees to the outside, who's been as aggressive as anybody. The 29 of Scott Negus is back there outside of row 3. And Adam Shane, notorious for working his way through the field. So he's got a lot of guys that know how to go from the back to the front.
There's no doubt about that. We're going to see how it goes. We come down to lap 84 as they come back to the line this time. Jason Menda is on the loud pedal. He gets away. He is all by his lonesome on the front straightaway. Battle is for second. It's the 75 of John Wilson to the outside. Our provisional point leader right now, the number 6 of Kurt Smith, is on the inside. They battle side by side for the second spot down the back straightaway.
Menda looks really good as he tries to get underneath Shane. Shane will have none others. He ducks the 79 in there. They continue to race side by side, and they're side behind them as well. Pearson on the inside, Negus on the outside. What great racing. This is the best thing that can happen.
Further back, Daryl Weiniger goes around in turns 1 and 2. It's not going to bring out the yellow flag. We stay green unless he comes back up on the track. Battle is still for second. It's the 6 on the inside, the 75 on the outside. The 6 of Kurt Smith gets a great run off of turn 4. He's going to clear John Wilson down the front straightaway, and he's going to be cleared into that second spot. Man, he'd really love for the race to end right now. Ooh, the 75 way up the track, gets into the outside wall just a little bit. Contact from behind. Steven Spees is going to have to check up, and he loses a bunch of momentum, and he might get some contact from Bruce Wilson, or from Bruce Pearson in the 22 machine. That stacks everybody up behind them. These guys are all over the track.
Meanwhile, Negus was able to get around Wilson and Speeds as well. Pearson is struggling. That guy, boy, Pearson is really struggling. There's another guy to watch out for. Maybe too little too late for the 69 of Aiden Young, but Young is notorious for having a car that closes. He might be too far back. Nevertheless, the 69 coming back there. If he doesn't come, we might be looking at a yellow. Look at Moore now. This is a great battle with Moore and Pearson. Moore to the outside. All this going on. Oh, no! And now that's the 79 of Shane that gets loose underneath Negus.
Yeah, they all stacked up actually up there, and Shane got into the back of Kurt Smith. Really didn't want to turn Kurt Smith around. He had to check up so hard, and it made him lose all that momentum, and it gets to 29 underneath of him. So we've got a side-by-side battle now for that third spot. Here comes Negus to the inside, trying to get around Adam Shane. Side-by-side on the front straightaway, but Shane with that big run off the top side. That's the advantage of the top side. We're coming back to 10 laps to go next time by. These guys are going to have to do something to get up to that 45 car, and they're going to have to do it in a hurry.
Oh, right now, Jason Menda's best friend might be Kurt Smith because they are coming behind. If Negus were able to get around Shane, both of those cars are really quick, but they're not as fast as Menda is when he races all by himself. Side by side is not going to work. Shane getting the best of Negus. If they can just get this figured out. Spees is saying, come on, guys, we all have the pace to get to Menda if we can just get it sorted out. How about we go one by one and see if we can run them down, and that's how they line up now.
Yeah, Speed's going to look to the outside of Negus, going to see if he can get the run to get around Negus. I think he thinks he's faster than both these guys in front of him, and he's going to get a run on Scott Negus coming off of turn 2. He ducks to the inside. Going to the inside for the fourth position is the double nickel of Steven Spees. He's not going to get the run off the corner from that bottom side, though. The top with that big run, and he looks to the inside of Adam Shane. Does Scott Negus going down into 1. Doesn't quite get there, falls back into line, and they're single file. But I'll tell you who's looking close, looking like he might have something for the lead, and it's going to be Kurt Smith in that 6 car, looking all over the back of Menda. But, man, I'm not sure if he really wants to do anything before the end of this race. He's in a great point spot. Trouble further back. Steven Spees gets into the side of the 29. He spins around, and the caution is going to come out as Steven Spees collects it on the apron.
Boy, you just had a hunch that either Shane, Negus, or Spees were going to get into trouble the way they were running. That's the worst thing that could happen to Jason Menda because now he's got Adam Shane right behind him. There are no bonus points for Kurt Smith to get to the win. It's just 1 point for position. So Kurt Smith is looking at, I believe it's 50 for a win for Menda, 49 for Smith if he finishes there. It's almost not worth risk versus reward. 1 point compared to falling perhaps all the way back to the end. I think you're right. I think a second place is as good as a win right now for Smith.
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm Kurt Smith, I'm not going to push the issue right here. I just want to finish in the top few positions because there's really no point contenders anywhere near him. So, I mean, you've got Menda. Menda's not in the points battle at all. You've got Adam Shane, who's not been here every week. Then you've got Scott Negus. Scott Negus well down the point order as well. So, I mean, nobody even close. The closest competitor
all the way back to Pearson.
Yeah,
Pearson
really, Bruce Pearson.
Yeah. Especially with this trouble that we look at Liston, buried now in 19th. We'll check on Holloway because Holloway will sneak up on you. He has been able to do nothing. 17th. You know what? What even makes that worse, again, as we continue to talk so much about the championship, there's a big difference from Holloway in 17th compared to 15th. When you look at it, Holloway is on the lead lap, so if he were able to get around Spies and Segala and get to the 15th spot and find a pole position going into the penultimate race,
that would be a huge deal.
Yeah.
He really probably wants to hold that 87 car, who's 2 spots behind him right now. He wants to hold Todd Liston out of the top 15 if he can manage it, and he wants to stay in the top or get into the top 15. So that would be ideal if you're Holloway. But Holloway's just shown no speed at all tonight. I don't know what's wrong with him. He's typically a little faster than we've seen tonight.
look at the 29 for a minute. This is an interesting pace lap racing line or pace lap line. Look at the 29 takes it all the way up. I almost wonder if he's racing up there trying to cool off his tires, thinking that it's colder up there.
That's exactly what he's doing.
Is it really?
There is a theory to that. The track is cooler up there. You also pick up a lot of marbles on the tires though, and you've got to clean them off a little bit, which kind of puts more heat back into them. So I don't know if it's a wash. I don't know if it really works, but hey, maybe he's just superstitious about it, and that's what he's going to do.
I've called a lot of races. That just would caught me. That one I found very peculiar, racing line back there. A couple of drivers we should mention having good nights. Donnie Moore, haven't really have much talked about old time Donnie Moore. He's in 6th, up 9 spots from where he started.
How about last week's winner?
Ruben Altiz right next to him.
That's
yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Altiz all the way up into the top 10. He started in that 14th position as, I guess, one guy from last week that was in the top 15 did not show up tonight. So, yeah, good run for him. He's back in the picture in the top 4 rows right here, but it's going to be Menda with the control on the inside with Kurt Smith to his outside. Menda is going to get on the loud pedal right in the middle of the corner. He does a little bit of a stack up on the inside lane behind him. Menda is going to get away scot-free. He's going to have no competitors in the battle is for second. It's going to be Shane on the inside.
I think Menda's just a way to go. The battle now will be for second between Smith and Shane. Take it home, Ricky.
Coming out of turn number 4, the 45 of Jason Menda is going to be clear to the line. It's going to bring out the white flag. He has no competition behind him. The battle is for second. The 6 machine clears the 79 on the top. Kurt Smith into the second spot, and no pressure for him down the back straightaway. Jason Menda down into turn number 3. Turn number 3 off of turn number 4, and he's going to collect the checkered flag at Kern County.
Kurt Smith gets second. Adam Shane goes from 12th to 3rd doing what he does. Scott Negus picks up 4th. Look down into the 15th position. Is it anybody that we know? It's Steven Spies. Holloway in 17th. And Liston right behind him in 18th. Oh, it's going to be a fun one. The last couple races, the point race is going to be interesting. The racing is over. Our broadcast is not. We'll take a short break. We'll come back and run down the entire 22-car field, talk to the top 3 drivers before we put a lock on the gate. You're watching VGN, which stands for Virtual Grip Network. Welcome back to Kern Raceway and VGN's 9th round coverage of the Bootleg Racing League's late model Invitational Series Season 28. The results are in. Let's give them to you now. 22 drivers took the grid, and believe it or not, 21 of them finished on the lead lap. Very competitive race. The first one to do so was Jason Menda in the number 45. Started on the front row outside and finishes on the lead. Kurt Smith came from 11th to 2nd, and we believe is going to be the point leader when we leave this place. Adam Shane does what he does, goes from 12th to 3rd. Back half of your top 5, Scott Negus up 16 spots for 4th. John Wilson finished where he started in 5th. Back half of your top 10, Ruben Altice, Donnie Moore, Bruce Pearson still in the championship conversation. Jeffrey Happy Kemper, a very quiet 9th place finish. And Aiden Young, well, he picked up 8 spots, really didn't have enough to get to the front to make his name a big thing.
The Butcher of Baton Rouge, Joseph Snyder, finishes in the 11th position, and 12th is Mark Herzog. Quietly worked his way forward after starting all the way at the tail end, along with Jeffrey Harden finishing 13th. Both those guys made up quite a few spots, just couldn't get their way through the mid-pack to be a contender late in the race. Trey Bloom, he started up front. We saw him fade early, went all the way back to the 14th position. Steven Spees finishes 15th after his late trouble. Joe Segala comes home 16th. Mike Holloway just never made any progress, finishes in the 17th spot. Todd Liston, we documented his problems, finishes right behind Holloway in 18th. He will lose the point lead with that effort. Chris Hazlip, he started on the pole, fell fast, and he finished in 19th. Daryl Weiniger, I mentioned that he spun out on a green flag run, did not bring out the caution, and rolls 20th.
Then a couple more drivers back there. Hidden Blackjack was Tom Hilbert. Lowell Jewell was 85 laps down, so that really takes care of the 22 drivers who took the grid. You know, you want to understand that the point race is exciting. How about when your 2 guys who sit 1 and 2 in the championship hunt finish 17th and 18th? You don't know what's going to happen in a Bootleg Racing League event. We know this, though. We are going to get an opportunity to talk to Jason Menda. There we go. Jason having a good night tonight. Nice win, buddy. Led 84 laps.
Thank you. Wasn't terribly too easy. They put a lot of pressure on me there.
You know, early on, you had Todd Liston who just kept attacking you and attacking you and attacking you. I know we talked during the in-race interview that you were just trying to save your stuff. Hard to do when you have somebody being as pesky as Liston was.
Yeah, I was just trying to stay enough in front of him. And then I got a 0X. I don't know if I came down or he came up, or I don't know. I felt like I held my line, but if I came down, I apologize, Todd. He was racing me pretty good.
Yeah, we didn't catch anything in the booth. It seemed fair. Well, that's a nice one. You don't race full time, but man, when you do, you are being very successful. You like this track?
Yeah, it's fun. I like high banks more than flat.
And it's always more fun when you're able to lead 84 laps and pick up a win. Congratulations, Jason. We'll see you down the road.
Thanks, Oop.
Jason Mender, your winner here tonight. Ricky, I think you got Kurt Smith, yes?
Yep, caught up with our 2nd place finisher. It's Kurt Smith tonight. And Kurt, we saw you looking at those guys out in front. You had Menda, you had Todd Liston. Now, from a points picture, what were you thinking early in this race?
Just trying to get a good points night out of it. I didn't think I had the speed to really pass either one of them, but so I saw Mike had had some problems early, so I was just trying to get a good points night out of it.
Yeah, when you saw Todd Liston have problems, we joked that you probably would have loved to see the race end while you were running inside the top 3. Is that how you were feeling?
Yeah, I think he kind of sacrificed himself to not take out Jason there. He got loose off the corner. I was just glad not to get caught up with it, but bad for him, but it helped me out a lot in the points, so that's, I guess, good.
Yeah, a really good points night for you. You're going to have an 8-point lead going into the final 2 races. How you feeling going into the off week before 2 races to finish the season?
Well, I'd like to win one, a points championship and a race, but I'm not sure what the next 2 races are, but running halfway decent right now, so hopefully I can keep my luck up for a little while here.
Well, it's your second place finish of the season, so nice effort on that. Who do you want to thank?
I just want to thank Lowell for this great league. Everybody in the league. There's a lot of good, clean racing up front tonight. Me and John Wilson ran side by side a number of times. Me and Adam ran side by side there at the end. Just a real good group of guys to race with every week.
There you have it, Kurt Smith, our second place finisher. Another great effort from him tonight, and he will be your point leader going into Hickory Motor Speedway in 2 weeks.
You know, there were a lot of smiles all around last round when Ruben Ortiz finally got a win. I think it's going to be the exact same thing if Kurt Smith can win a championship. There's going to be a lot of guys saying, if it's not me, Kurt Smith, that's well-deserved. They're going to be happy about that. I get to talk to Adam Shane right now. Picked up 9 spots to pick up 3rd position. Well, you were in some fun racing going on there. You back there with Spies and Negas. There was some dynamic racing.
Oh yeah, it's fun. I had to really defend Negas. He was all over me, so I had to play defensive mode on that couple laps there.
Our take in the booth was that all 3 of you guys might have had something for the guys up front, but you just couldn't get it worked out between you.
Yeah, I had something, but being stuck on the outside, I burned up. I think I burned up everything I had. Those like 3 or 4 laps stuck on the outside. I was not gonna let those spots go, so I was working it, and I think I burned everything.
Are you able to track when you're watching it? Do you know exactly how much you have left, or is it all by feel?
It's all by feel, to be honest. Like when you're going in, you're turning the wheel to the left, and it's only going so much, and then towards the end of the race, and you're starting to cut it more, then yeah, you're pretty much using everything.
Well, Menda got the win. Smith takes over the points lead, but I think the show was put on by you, Negas, and Spies back there. Congratulations. Well done. 3rd place finish.
Thank you, sir.
Adam Shane finishing 3rd today and doing what he does, putting on a show for us. Well, that's going to do it for us. But listen, you heard my partner talk about it. Kurt Smith will have an 8-point lead over Bruce Pearson. Now, both of those guys are respectable, but maybe not the same pace that Todd Liston and Mike Holloway have, who will be sitting 12 and 15 points back. This thing is long from done. You do not want to miss next week. Well, it won't be next week. It'll be the week after Thanksgiving when we go to Hickory Motor Speedway for our doubleheader. Also, check out those other races coming up in 2025. The Red Light Racing Modified Series and the Yesteryear Racing League. Those are both going to be good. We're glad you were with you. This season is wrapping up here. Have a good Thanksgiving. Remember, share the bird. Don't hog the wishbone. And I have no idea what I'm saying, so until next time, gobble, gobble.